Hello, this is part 8 of creating a third-person shooter. Last time we made sure our collider hit info or collider hit information was transferring over to our console, and then we set this up. We initially did the targets, we then set this up with our own enemy. So to start off this session, we're going to make sure that we can hit and kill our enemy. So first things first, we're going to go into our scripts and go into fire. And what we're going to do is make sure we're talking about the same information. So we want our raycast hit information to hit our enemy and then essentially kill them. So what we need to do is grab our health system that we've created previously, as we've created this for everything within our game. So not just our enemy and our player, but if we wanted to put it on, let's say, a destructible box where you have to hit it a couple of times before it damaged and then eventually faded off or destroyed, we can then again use this health system for that. So it's a universal health system that is health for everything within our game, instead of us coding and scripting it for within each script. We can just reference off this. So, and that's exactly what we're going to do here for fire. So if we say, and let's refer to our health then, and let's call this enemy health. We can then say, well, actually, is it going to be enemy health? Let's keep it that for now. And then we can see where we're going to go with it. Equals hit dot collider, just like before, dot get component, and that component is obviously going to be our health component. There it is. Whoops. Got those brackets and semicolon in there. Lovely. We then can say if, oh, need some brackets, if enemy health is equal to null, so we always do a null check, we can then say enemy health dot damage, because we have that damage method somewhere. I think it might be within, where was that damage method? Is it in player? I don't know. Health system, maybe in here. No, enemy AI. No, do we write a damage script? Have we got a damage script? No, we don't. Where's that method then? That's an interesting update. Maybe you've just written it in an update somewhere and not put it into effect into its own method, but then let's see if this works anyway. So we can say damage, and we can say 50 damage. There we go. Now we've got our an integer in there. That will be all nice and working. Lovely. Okay, so let's save this. Our fire script should already be within our player. Let's let that compile. So if we've got any issues, nothing major. Click onto player. We've got our player script. We've got our fire script, our health script. Let's make sure enemy's got his health script as well. Enemy health is 100, so I'm going to keep this on there, and then I'm going to press play. And then on this bottom screen, we should be able to, if we start to shoot our enemy, let's try. I'm not really getting any kind of shot in here because he's too close to me. Let's try helpful. So hit enemy, that did hit them there. It didn't do any damage though, which is interesting. Interesting. So that hasn't killed. our enemy. So we've got minimum health, maximum health is 100. What is it on here? It's 200 for a player on here. Damage should be 50, but then there's that damage method that seems to have done a complete runner. Oh no, there it is. Public void damage, entity damage amount. Destroy this object. And it did say hit on enemy. So our null job check is happening there. So let's play this again. And we're not getting a clear hit on our enemy there, are we? Let's try one away from him as much as we can. There we go, get him stuck between there. Hit enemy, hit enemy. Interesting. That method doesn't seem to be working. Even though we have hit him a number of times, no damage is actually taking place. Interesting. So let's go back to our script. Let's look at this. Current health is minus equals the damage. And this is within our health system. So health there, which is referring to hit the collider, get component health, which she doesn't seem to have a problem with. So where is health coming from? Seems to be okay there. Let's have a look. I think I may be health system and enemy. Health system, oh okay, I see what's happening here. So if I type in health system and health system, there we go, that should fix our issue there. I was going off an old script that I wrote earlier. I've now got a better performing one called health system. Let's just save that. We're in play, so I'll have to come out of play and see, get this working again. So there we go, we'll make sure current health is on. Let's get away from him. Click. Let's try and get locked in there again. So if I go hit, lovely. As you can see, if you concentrate on the bottom right hand corner, current health was 50, and if I shoot him again, there we go, he's destroyed. Lovely. So that's working marvelously. I'm just going to click save on that. Apologies about that error. Okay, so our health system is in, and that is working for destroying our enemy. So now we need to destroy our player itself, do damage to the player itself. Okay, so let's have a look at this enemy. And what have we got? We've got our script, we've got our character controller, which we're using to move. So what we can do is, at the moment, if we press play on our game, we've got he's not giving us any space, and it's really difficult to attack him. So we need to create a triggered sphere collider around him to give us some space for us to attack him and him to attack us as well. Otherwise, when we put our models in, it's just going to have to look like an absolute mess. So what we're going to do is add a component onto our enemy, and this will be a sphere collider. We're going to make sure its trigger is checked, and then we're going to make sure the radius is around 1. Cool. So if we have a look what's going on here. Cool, this is looking a lot better. Lovely, that should be enough space for now, but we can change that if we wish. Cool, I'm just going to quickly save that. Lovely, if we go to override, health subscription, apply all. Cool, so I've just updated my prefab for my enemy there. That is good. Cool. So what I can then do is let's have a look at this enemy script, because this needs to be where we damage our player. We have referenced our player before, which is good. Oh yeah, we can see that there as well. Okay, so all of this is our movement for our, or was it just checking grounding? Oh no, AI controller, character controller. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do, this is all of our movement for our enemy. So what I'm going to do is just create a new method, and I'm going to call this what could we just call it, public void enemy movement, and then I'm going to take all of this, cut and paste, and then just type in enemy movement there. Brackets. Lovely. So that should be that. Lovely. Awesome. So everything else we're just going to add into update, and that should work as normal. So we've sorted out that. We've sorted out our method. So now we can create an enum, or an enumeration. So an enumeration is essentially having different states at the same time within a Unity code. So for example, what we're going to do is idle, running, or chase, and attack. So there are 3 different states there. And I think Unity has a really good, I'll put this link in the description below, where enumerations allows us to create a collection of related constants. I'll put this video in there as well. He also shows the script that he writes as well. So a constants, like he has a constants of a direction, so north, east, south, and west. There's nothing different between these states apart from the direction that they're facing, which he can then dictate down here within that method. And I'm essentially going to be doing the same, but obviously with idle, chase, and attack, they are going to be eventually different, or some of them are going to be have different animations within each state, as well as a different transform, and that's what we're going to be adding in. Cool. So if let's create that enum first. Let's just do it under here. And so if we say public enum, and then we can call this enemy state, brackets, and then we can have, oh, it doesn't like that. It's not a method technically, it's an enum. So we can then have, what did I say, idle, chase, and attack. So there are our states. We can then create a variable for these states. Let's call them private, because obviously it's from enemy state. Let's call it enemy state, and then we could do what current state is, and then we have to say what our current state is. So this is going to be, that needs a space, and then our current state is going to be equal enemy enemy state dot chase. That would be our default. So as soon as we start our game, our enemy is going to be chasing us. That's essentially what this line of code is going to be saying here. And obviously chase there is obviously corresponding to our enumeration here. Lovely. Okay, let's squidge this up a little bit so we can see it all together. Let's serialize this field as well. I think this may work. There we go. If I serialize that field and then quickly save this script, what I should be able to do is go back to Unity. And if I click onto enemy AI, as you can see, it says current state, and then I've got chase, attack, and idle. So, and obviously I've set the default to be chase, which is what we're doing right now, which is awesome. Cool. So that's all implemented in. Not gonna read that for now. Let us implement spotting that player and attacking that player. So we've got our sphere collider, so we can use triggers as we've already checked it, I believe. Yep, there it is trigger checked. So we're going to use triggers to check whether we have entered the sphere to start damaging the player, or we've exited it. So first we can do under here. So under enemy movement, we can say private void on trigger enter. And then we can say, well, let's make sure our player is also tagged. So I'm just going to quickly save that. Is our player tagged as player? Quickly save player. Yes, he is. Lovely. So then we can say if other.tag is other.tag is equals player. What's going to happen when our player enters that collider? Well, our current state is going to change. So we are going to go from chasing as soon as we hit that collider with our and with our enemy. Our current state is going to equals to changing to dot attack, just like that. Lovely. Okay, so what does attack ensue? So we can say, okay, so at the moment, enemy movement, we need to say okay, so within update, we can say, if we give logic to the state of enemy chase, we can say that if current state is chase, so we need to say current state is equal to enemy, I'll spell anymore, enemy state dot chase. We can then say, if we cut and paste this there, if current state is equal to chase, enemy movement is allowed. Okay, so we're essentially saying we're giving logic to our enemy state of chase and saying that is enemy movement, so we're allowed to move, and we've already sorted all of that out and implemented that, so that's really, really helpful. So okay, so with that, actually we could probably test this really quickly. So if we save this get rid of that, press play. So now our enemy should stop at his sphere. There he is, lovely, look at that. He should chase us. So okay, so we need him to get us to chase him again. But that was initially working. He chased us and then stopped at his collider. So we know that's working. We just need to create our trigger exit now, essentially. So that's good. I'm just going to quickly save that. Yeah, let us create our trigger exit. So there's our trigger enter. So again, private void on trigger exit, and then same again. So if other dot tag is equals to player, we can then say our enemies. So if we come out of our current state, which is equal to enemy state dot chase. So as soon as we come out of that trigger, what's going to happen? So attacking is happening here. What is happening when we exit that trigger or that sphere collider? Well, we're going to go back to our current state, which is chase. What is chase? Well, we've already just said this. Our current state of chase is enemy movement there. So that should be working. Let's save this and check if it works. Come on. There we go. So if we then move, there we go, it chases us again, and then we've got that, he's got that sphere collider to then stop him from chasing us. Brilliant, fantastic stuff, awesome. Cool, that's working fine. So now, when we use on trigger enter, we need to create damage to destroy the player. So we're not going to use on trigger enter. Actually, we can probably use let's create some variables. Let's create a variable for our player health. Let's write these down, and then I could probably easily explain what these are going to do. So first one we need is private health, but it's going to be health system, as we've just found out, and we're going to call this player health, like we did for the previous one, player enemy health. So that could be called player health, and then we can say private float, and this is going to be for a delay attack. So delay attack, which is going to be equal to 1.5f. Oh dear, 1.5f, there we go. So what we're going to say is essentially creating a mini cooldown system that we're going to be attacked, but not constantly. It will then delay the attack by 1.5f, giving us a chance to either get away or escape, etc., etc. So we're not just getting absolutely blitzed every 60 frames per second, because we'll die instantaneously, and we do not want that. So that's why we've got the delay attack there. We then can say private another float, and we can call this underscore next attack, and let's make this equal to -1. Again, delaying the attack so we're not getting absolutely blitzed. Let's save that. Within start, we need to grab our player health script. Dear me, can't type today. Player health is equal to underscore player, which is the player. Let's say underscore. Oh, it's the transform, isn't it? It's this transform, so it needs to be underscore player. That is correct. Cool. Which is then dot get component, which is then our health system. Lovely. Cool. So our moving player is also our transform, which we're following. Okay, so we need to we've just linked those up to be the same thing and link them with our health system, just so it doesn't confuse matters. So once we've got that, within update, we can say, if we say, so what we're doing, we're attacking, aren't we? So if our current state is equals to enemy state dot attack, there it is, we can say if, because we need to delay that time dot time is greater than next attack underscore player health dot damage. Let's say only 10, not 50. And then we can say underscore next attack equals time dot time plus underscore our delayed attack. Okay, so if our current state is, oh, I've already read that bit. If our current state is equal to attack and we're delaying the time, or if time.time is greater than our next attack, then our player health will be damaged by 10. Then next attack will then be delayed by that 1.5f before next attack comes in, and then the whole thing circles round again. Okay, so with that delay in there, let's save this and go into our game. And we should, if we press play, I'm going to go to, it should be, I'm not dying, am I? I should be dying. Right. Yeah, nothing's happening there. He's following us. I can hit him with 2 shots. But let's have a look at my... Oh, because my current health... Oh, okay, so if I press play, does my current health go to 100? I can't... Whoa, what's going on? Let's come out of this. Where is my... Oh, okay, as you can see, my current health is going down. That's fantastic. By 10. So let's just make sure I actually be destroyed at the end of this. 90, 80, 70. Oh, that delay's working perfectly as well. That 1.5, 30, 20, 10, 0. Done. Cool. It's obviously deleted my camera as well, but that's perfect. That's all working. Cool. Fantastic. So, oh, actually, what have we got up here? Missing weapons, health object has been destroyed. Oh, okay, that's just saying that my health system has been destroyed and it won't work now. But that's standard. That's fine. So what I'm going to do is save that. Thank you very much for watching this video. In the next video, we are going to implement our models because we've got everything, all of our information, theory, universal health system, and destroying game objects all sorted. So modeling, probably use mix mode to implement some new models in the next video. Cool. See you later.